Hello. Hello.
So we're live on everything, right? So YouTube and Facebook. And they are all good? YouTube and Facebook?
We will see. I could look up.
We'll see.
So this is the first time that we're doing something like this. So obviously, this is the first time we're doing something like this. So it's going to be maybe a little bit of a bumpy start, but that is also because we tried to do this by ourselves, and then we had an amazing team of people come in at the last second to just see us struggle, and then they were like, "We want to help you." So that's been amazing. So thank you, Andy, Justin, Roland, for the space. We are here at SwingVester 2025-26, and we are very excited to do this. This was an interesting decision for us because we've never actually done a live stream with actual people in the room. So it's going to be a nice little balance between taking questions online as well as taking questions from anybody that is here with us right now in the space. And I know we have some stuff already that was asked online, so we would like to acknowledge those questions that were pre-sent in, and then also acknowledge some questions that are here right now. So, you ready to start?
I'm ready to start.
Yeah? Okay. So the intention, do you want to set an intention, shall we?
For the live stream?
Set an intention for the live stream. The intention that we received was about competition. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be the majority of what today's live stream / Q&A is about, is mainly for competitors, but it also will talk about mindsets. It'll talk about how we actually can feel on the dance floor, whether that is performing in competition or even just in social dancing. So I would love to talk about that a little bit as well. Is there anything that you would like to touch on?
Yeah, I mean, we have we are online with all of you, and we also have a few people around here, so we'll take a few questions also from the live audience if you guys have some. We can talk, we definitely will talk about the competition, the mindset. It's also a good way for us to chat. We often teach, but it's also a good way for us online to be able to share with you guys about how we feel in general about West Coast Swing, about our life as dancers. We basically sleep, eat, live West Coast Swing all the time, and we also have the opportunity to often talk about everyone. So it's good. It's fun to be able to share with all of you, and we'll talk about a few things too. We'll talk about different steps of our journey that we had, that we are about to do, some projects. So I'm excited to share this moment with all of you guys.
Let's do it.
So you want to take this first question? I think it's good for the newbies that we have in West Coast Swing in general.
Oh yeah, so this one is interesting for maybe not as many people here in the room today, because I know there's a lot of competitors, but if you are thinking about competing and you haven't yet, this will be a good question for you. I'm thinking about doing comps for the first time. Can you offer any advice, please? So this is Anel Eska, I think, if I pronounced that correctly, I hope. So do you want to start with that? Do you want it, or do you want me to answer it first?
Go ahead, yeah.
So first time comps, main intention always is to have fun with it and not put any pressure, and understand that it is a time of learning and not necessarily a time to dominate. There's a lot of people that may start competitions with the intention of trying to basically save up a lot of energy, save up a lot of knowledge before they enter their first comp. And I think the greatest thing that you can do for yourself is just to start, because that is the best way that you're going to be able to actually build a lot of confidence and build a lot of knowledge. The more that you start to do something, you start to exercise that muscle, the easier it gets. So also having a good team around you really helps. Having a lot of friends that maybe have some experience in it. If you don't have any experience, start to talk to people and start to get a little bit of, some feeling around it. Start to understand what they went through, their journey through it as well. So that's going to be my advice on that. And also, good luck. Congratulations on your first event.
So I would add that if you are about to compete in your first competition in West Coast Swing or any sport, I would say to be clear with where you're at in your journey. If you're really here to compete, if you're here to have fun, if you're here to push yourself, if you are already have experience in sports and you exactly where you want to go, or if you're more here to have fun and push your limits. So sometimes you're going to discover new feelings, and that's kind of the goal of competition in general. But being able to be aligned in your body and in your mind with what you're about to do, I think will be very helpful for you. If I take my example, when I first started West Coast Swing, I had experience in different dances in competition, so I knew kind of where I wanted to go. No matter the results, I had an intention going on the floor, right? It was maybe to have fun or to push myself to the maximum, connect with my partner, but I think setting an intention, even if it's new to you, will be very helpful. So keep that in mind, and the way you think about it, the way you approach it, might change your experience when you're on the floor, dancing with someone.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I love that.
Okay, we have another one that is pretty interesting. Justin, that you manage. If we have any questions here, yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can just raise your hand and just say we'll come to you for us to have the question. I like this one. So we have one that is, I would love to hear about how you both approach competitions. Can you offer some tips and tricks on confidence, mindsets, being at events? That's pretty good.
Yeah. This is exactly the kind of topic I love. Yeah. I like that.
So being at like 40 plus events, or like a lot of events per year, and having the experience to be on the floor very often, I'm trying to really make sure I understand competition. So how we approach competition, so we can say shows or like any stressful situation. So the way how I approach it is I'm first stressed and I need to manage that, right? So the anxiety, the stress that you get, the way how your body feels, the adrenaline, it's very interesting to just feel and accept this feeling and then work on it and see how it's going to either push you or it's going to limit you, and try to see how you can work on that. So doing that many times, I kind of realized that I wanted to use personally the pressure, the stress as a tool to push myself. So I worked on having this adrenaline, having this feeling of stress pushing me in a good way, and trying not to push me down. So that was my challenge, really working on when I feel the stress coming, how can I make sure I'm going to use that on the floor in a good way. That's more on the moment. If I think about mindsets, it's a way how we think about the event, how we think of the performance. So it's it took some time to think about it as a good thing and try to not hate the moment just before, because often when I'm behind the curtain just before dancing, I'm asking myself, like many others, why do I do this?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because there's so much stress, especially at the open.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But so it's just reminding yourself that you're here because you love it, because the after feeling is the best ever. And it's just so much joy. As soon as you enter the floor, you just don't think about it anymore, you just enjoy the moment. So it's also understanding that it's almost like, I wouldn't say love and hate relationship, but there's way more positive than negative. But going through this emotion, even if it's very hard sometimes, doing it so often in competition, you're glad that you did it because you kind of pushed yourself in a way. So you're glad that you made it, and you work on this feeling more and more, and it becomes more and more positive. I'm going to also respond.
No, it's great. Yeah, I love that. I'll get like a little bit personal and a little bit of history of where I come from. I am an extremely nervous competitor, and one of those people that there are many different ways that you can go into a nervous state. That can be fight, it can be flight or fawn, and I am definitely a fawner, so that basically means that I will turn into my own cocoon, I will get super shaky, I won't trust my muscles, I won't trust my brain, and I'll just start to I don't want to move anymore. So it's the opposite of what you should kind of feel when you're going to do a showcase routine with acrobatics in the air, and it should not actually affect, how you perform, but it does. Yeah. And so I've had to learn through experience how to not fight against that feeling, but to actually work with it. And there's a couple of different things that I have to tell myself. The first is I have to remember that I'm not alone on the floor. This is the reason why I love this dance, is because I get to tune into somebody else's energy, and maybe they are a little bit more grounded than I am in that moment. And a lot of the times, especially if it's like a Jack and Jill setting, if it's a routine setting, it's happened before, I'm like super shaky, maybe I had too much caffeine that day, something's a little bit off, I don't trust myself that day. And then I just look at my partner and I can try and synchronize my breath with my partner in that moment. And my intention at that point doesn't switch from, it switches from me wanting to showcase a really good dance to me wanting to do a really good dance with my partner. And so I don't think very much about what I need to do technically, how I need to be seen, how I want to be seen, but rather how can I tune in? And then the rest of it will just kind of show up. The beauty of the dance will kind of show up after that. So that is probably one of my greatest experiences and discoveries, especially during routine movements, routine performances. I don't want to think so much about me. I don't want to be as self-conscious and self-aware, but rather focusing more on my partner in that moment. Mm-hmm. The other thing that I do is a little bit of like breathing exercises, and I know like we hear a lot about that nowadays, especially like calming the nervous system and stuff. And I have a friend in the U.S. who helps with our body work. He helps with our recovery, and he gave me a really, really good tip on matching the nervous system rather than fighting the nervous system. So if we start to feel like we get this tight feeling in our bodies, and our nervous system is already shocked, and we already feel like we're very, very excited, our body needs to calm down. A lot of the times we feel like we need to take deep breaths, but in reality, we want to take sharp inhales, almost like we're hyperventilating, match the nervous system, and then calm it down. Mm-hmm. So I like this method because it acknowledges where I'm at in that moment, and then it can allow me to then control. Like, I recognize where you're at, body, that's okay, you can feel that, but you can also feel this way. Mm-hmm. And so I would take 4 really sharp inhale, exhale, and then 1 big inhale, 1 big exhale. Mm-hmm. And that has been very, very detrimental for me to feel a lot more grounded physically. So
I like to add just one thing, and just to add, try to see what works for you, right? I often watch my friend before I compete, and sometimes I see a friend just dancing with headphones and like moving and like doing so much, and then some others are meditating. Yeah. Right?
It's
and
yoga.
So you can also find different ways that will help you to get ready on the floor, and it feels the most comfortable. I personally like to stretch and move my body and just make sure I'm in the mood. You need to think about the fact that before you enter the floor competing, there's nothing else that you can do technically working-wise. You're just
That's
there.
such a big one.
Right? So don't think about technically what can I do. Don't think too much. You're here to enjoy the moment and to dance. So I think that's one of the most important things is don't get too much in your head. Try to be present in the moment. Yeah?
Yeah, I love that you said that. It's good.
We have a question from online. Bill Cook 9639 says, do you prefer to dance together or with different partners? And he also asks, your eye contact is phenomenal. Do you feel that comes across when you dance?
Eye contact?
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if they heard that. I can repeat it. But so we're going to take the question. It's a good question. The first one is if we prefer to dance together
with different partners.
or with different partners. So of course
It's a spicy question.
Spicy questions. I'll let you respond first.
Well, okay. I'm obviously going to say, so...
Come on here.
I love to dance with you, baby. I'm not going to say I have a preference. I love my dance partner because I feel like it's home to me. And I love dancing with other people because I feel like it's different spaces that I can explore. And that's just essentially he's my anchor. At the end of the day, like I know I can always come back to him and I can feel, yeah, you passed the test, I know. I can always come back to him and I can feel like he grounds me, and I don't feel like I question his movement because I'm so used to it. So this is something that I will always cherish, and that's something that I hold very dear to me. That being said, I love dancing with other people because they get me to explore new movements. They get me to bring new ideas to the table and maybe some thoughts that I didn't have before. Like social dancing at night is one of the most exciting things because we get to actually try to meet new people in a very different way rather than just social, make new friends, but then also discover new things about yourself that you didn't know before. So I appreciate both. I don't have a preference, to be honest. It just kind of depends on the mood and the situation. Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about that too?
Yeah, I'm going to give my point of view.
Yes, yes.
So I personally do have a preference. Right? So because the way I think about it personally is not just on the moment right now, or like if I think about if I would need to dance, if I would choose between my partner and someone else, of course, I love dancing with Nicole as my anchor. But the way I think about it is to see the evolution of a partnership, and I can take about our example, but any other partnership, is to see the evolution, how a partnership grow is beautiful to me. And when I see that, when we first started years ago and how we dance together now, the evolution is what I love the most. And to see a partnership evolve years after years, and seeing some of the top partnerships that we have in our community and seeing them evolving is very beautiful. And I think it's one of the strongest things that we have in partner dancing. And I think it's great to see it. It's what I'm the most excited about, is to see us growing and years after years, having these memories and watching our partnership grow over time.
Yeah. What was the other question that he asked?
And I think he said your eye contact is phenomenal.
Oh.
Do you feel that comes across when you dance?
Our eye contact is phenomenal.
Eye contact is phenomenal. Do you feel what sorry, do you feel what comes across when you dance? I can't read.
That's fascinating. No, well, so it has been brought to our attention before, but we don't think about this kind of thing. I feel like that's just a natural thing. We don't try to tell each other to look at each other more. That's something that we feel like is necessary in this dance. What I don't want to do is dance with somebody and look down for too long, because like I want to make sure that I'm paying attention to what they're doing. And if we feel like we're trying to like get in the zone, we're trying to express our movement, a lot of times we want to get internal, which is great. I think that allows us to be able to express movement in a very neat, interesting, individual way. But there are times, dance is about balance. So if I am a bit too internal, I'm not actually dancing with my partner anymore. So a lot of the times when I look at Thibault, it's because I'm trying to get information. It's because I'm trying to be on his wave. So if he's going into a little bit more of an internal space, I'm looking at him to give me direction and to give me different feelings. I want to feel what kind of energy we're riding on. I want to know which direction we're going into. So I use eyes for that specific purpose, or to relay a message. If the music is giving some kind of message about maybe romance, connection, eye contact, quite literally, then at that point, I want to actually use my eyes to connect more towards my partner. The last place I look is the audience. I'm either internal towards my partner or the audience. Those are like the three main places, like outward projection. And that one I use pretty rarely, especially in social dance. I never use it in social dance, to be honest. I always use it in performance if I'm doing a routine. I rarely use it in Jack and Jill settings as well. Like that kind of like outward expression. It's usually directed to my partner or directed internally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think you did good.
Cool.
I share most of what Nicole just said.
Yeah.
I would say that it's the eye contact is not something that I control. It's something that I feel. Mm-hmm. So I will just have it depending on the feeling, the music. But yeah, I share most of what you said. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Quick fire one from Kat online. How old are you guys?
Oh, how old are we? I am 22. I am not. I'm 29, about to be 30. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good.
It's good. We're gonna throw a big party. Big 30. 30s are good years. I don't know yet because I'm 28, but we'll find out.
But at least I'm not 40 something.
Wow! Wow! Don't. He didn't even hear it. He didn't even hear it. He didn't even hear it. No.
Debbie asks online, we've watched Vampire 100 times. What made you pick that song?
Oh, that's a good question. So the question is, what was her name?
Debbie asked,
Debbie.
What made you pick Vampire as your song for your
So what made us pick Vampire, our song? So there's a backstory to this.
Yeah.
We were, one of us were for Vampire, the other was for another music. And we had to talk months to decide which song we were going to use for the routine, and I won.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Well, there was a deal. We had a deal. So actually, we had this song for a long time, actually not for ourselves. We were thinking about it as either a showpiece, or giving it to a different couple. We didn't really feel like it was us in the beginning. And then a few years later, we actually, we fell in love with it. We didn't see the potential in it as much, but then when we had our DJ Chris, he's Audio Maze, he reconstructed the song in a way that would make it perfect for competition and would give it that edge that we needed. And so he turned it into a song that would really fit us, but we really liked the character drive of it. It was very different, and I liked that I could be able to express a little bit more, seeing it was a female singing. Last year we went into Tom Odell, Another Love, so it was more of him shining in that routine, more of his expression. This year was more my expression, and I like to play that power. I love that. It's so fun. It's very, very much my style.
Yeah. So to talk about the drive and why I really felt this music at first is we did Another Love in 2023, and that was the first routine that we did that was really
2023?
2024.
2025? Yeah, 24 open, but 25 year.
24 was the open Another Love, and it was the first emotional really routine that we ever did, and it felt very nice. It felt connected. We loved the feeling that we had on the floor, and I was kind of like, I felt addicted to this feeling of having something with a strong message emotionally, right? And Vampire was a different story, a bit more toxic in a way, and I felt like going into something a bit darker was going to be fun. It was going to be different. So I was really attracted to try something different. The routine that we did in the past were way more physically pushing, a bit more challenging, more powerful. This one was still powerful, but in a different way. The storyline was more diffused along the whole routine instead of really sharp moments the whole time. So it felt very different, and I was attracted by the challenge.
Yeah. If I add one last thing, and this is a bit of advice if anyone is thinking about starting to do routines, the past 3 routines I think I've connected with as almost it was my personality. And for those of you who know me and have like seen our past 3 years at least, you'll see that I change hair, I'll change clothes, I change even like the earrings. I have everything down to the details where it becomes kind of like a personality disorder for me. But I actually think it's a positive thing. I think that it actually helps my performance because I connect with it so much more. So we always try to look for songs and choose the music that fits our feeling in that moment, that fits our personality in that moment. And this was just one of those songs that like we could feel was really matching what we would want to present, how we would want to present ourselves personally, not just on the floor, but off the floor as well. So like even the entire week at the Open, the entire time I was wearing like vampire style outfits. And like that's the kind of thing I like. I want to kind of keep it on the same tone, keep it on the same ride, because I want to show just how much I love this piece and how much it means to me, but I also really feel like I get to embody it fully when I'm performing it. It feels like me. So the past 3 routines, I'm really happy because I really felt, even actually the past 4 routines, even Rule the World felt like me. But every time we try to choose something, and that's why it's one of the most difficult tasks when it comes to picking a song, is because you want it to feel like you. You don't want it to just be like, oh, this would be good for a competition, or this would be good for the formula to try and win a competition, right? It's not about that. It's about your artistry, it's about your soul urge, and it's about competition. So
it's also, guys, you need to know that when we pick a song, I know already that everything about this music, this routine, Nicole will do 100%. So everything was purple. It was very purple for the hair, everything. We picked Vampire, it was red. I knew that everything was going to be red. Like, she goes so much into it that I'm just not thinking just about the routine, but who I'm going to live with for the next year. So every time I just need to think about that. I'm like, oh my God, which color?
yeah, it's so true.
Right? So that's fun. Okay.
I didn't know you were thinking of that.
Oh, Bryn Anderson with us.
Bryn Anderson has entered the chat.
Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, it is on. Okay. I was wanting to know what goes through y'all's minds during Jack and Jill's.
Oh, well, the question is, what goes through our mind during Jack and Jill? We're gonna respond to it if you respond to it after on your.
Ah.
Yeah. I'd love to hear about that too. Sounds good. Go first.
Oh, okay. It really depends on my mood, to be honest. It depends on what I'm feeling that day.
We're getting on.
But I think that for me, as soon as I enter the floor, like my main goal is I want to wow myself. I want to come off the floor feeling like, I didn't know I could do that. That was cool. Like that's kind of like my drive, and it's like that feeling that you get when you're actually social dancing, and then there's like that magic moment that arrives, and you're like, oh, that was so cool. I didn't know what we did, but it was so cool, and we'll never be able to do it again probably. I want to create those moments as often as I can. So it's not a competitive mindset for me mainly. It's just I'm trying to be competitive with myself. And I'm trying to think, how can I one-up myself every time? And I want to feel it. That's the thing too, is like if I don't get to feel the performance, I don't get to feel alive in it, like I'm creating some kind of magic, then I don't like it. I feel like I'm kind of stuck. So that's my main intention. When it comes to comps, when it comes to shows, it's all the same. So we do a lot less shows nowadays, or a lot less competitions rather nowadays, and I don't feel a difference. It all feels the same to me. It's because I'm just trying to go for the same drive. So that's me.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to be honest and vulnerable a little bit with this question.
Here we go.
So when I think about competition, I've been raised in a really competitive setting because I started with dance, boogie woogie, and it was all about competition. We didn't have any social dancing really, so it was competing every weekend. So it was a lot about the results, a lot about the top placements. It was not really, it was about dancing of course, but it was not so much about social dancing itself. So when I came into West Coast Swing, all my Jack and Jills, what I was thinking about the most was placing. And I had to switch my mindset more and more because I love the dance, I fell in love with West Coast Swing, and I didn't want to just be attracted to placements or just competition. But when it's the habit that you have, because I started with the sports of like competing, it was a switch for me. And still nowadays, when I compete, I worked a lot on it, and I really enjoy competing, and my goal is to create on the floor. But I still have this side of me that is really competitive, and that is thinking about. Okay,
You're a shark.
Yeah, it's dancing, of course, to dance, but there's also a strategy behind it because I'm a competitor. So it's also analyzing for anyone, what is your mindset, what is your background. Some are way more artists, some are athletes and wanting to compete. That's mindset, and I had to work on letting more the art take a bit more, take more space in my dancing to allow myself to feel more than just wanting to compete, right? So that's my journey. That I feel much more balanced now. But I think that could help some people, because sometimes I see people being frustrated, not understanding why, and it's because you're a competitor. So it's just understanding how you can balance the two, and not just thinking about one side, but you need to accept both.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with being a competitor. I want to just say that flat out. Like if you are a competitor, own that. I feel like we have this culture, especially in West Coast Swing, we're like, I'm not that competitive, I just want to share art. If you don't feel that, that's okay. If you feel like you want to win a competition, that's okay. Be honest with that. We want to feel that like we can be honest with ourselves and show up authentically. So I'm glad that you said that, because like it feels like we can allow ourselves to actually feel that a lot more often. And so the more that we actually speak up with that, like, yeah, I'm a competitor, I want to be competitive, but there's a healthy way about it, rather than like, I want to destroy everybody. No, that's not what we're after. We want to be competitive, right? That's what we're doing it for. So, Bryn, are you down or are you not?
Come with us, Bryn.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna mic Miss Bryn up. Yes.
Push on it.
Okay. Welcome Bryn to the chat, everybody.
You sit in the middle?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that's fine.
It's in the middle.
Okay. So do I just like, do I do both at the same time?
I need to give my mic here.
Can you attach it to me?
Yeah, I can. Look.
Perfect.
Done.
Okay, thank you. Hi.
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 Oh, hello.
Let's switch.
Okay.
Yeah.
I should have thought more about what my answer was going to be when I was sitting down. So now everything is just gonna come out as I think of it. I feel like I tend to be similar to you in like having a specific artistic goal every time. And I'm also similar to you in that I used to be very focused on placements when I was like coming up, kind of until I got to champions. And then I realized that like I'm trying to compete against just absolute masters of the dance who have been doing it for 20 years. And as I was looking around, I was like, oh, I'm not sure they're actually competing anymore.
Yeah.
Like they are
Get
still,
to that point where like,
yeah, like they're pushing themselves to be better artists. And sure, like if you happen to win or like have like an amazing moment that like sends the audience to their feet, then that's like awesome. But everybody is really in it for like the dance exploration to some extent. And I got to appreciate that more and more over time. And so now I'm looking for, I think where I am currently is I kind of waffle back and forth between looking for ways that I can use the connection I have with my partner to create new shapes that like fit the music in novel or like very specific ways. And then I alternate that with trying to be a better partner and to really be present with whatever's happening on the other end of my arm.
Yeah.
Because that's something like I tend to look down and get very internal. So it's like I'm trying to be a little more external now.
That's great.
Yeah.
Bryn,
everybody.
Yeah, Bryn.
Thank you. Love that.
Do I take the chair?
Can I have my mic?
Oh yeah, you can.
All right. I love that.
I wanted to jump on something that Bryn was saying.
Yeah, we're gonna attach her socials. She's with KP. We're gonna attach her socials into the chat as well.
Yeah, something that Bryn was saying, I think it's nice. It's one of the questions. Yeah, we're gonna. So the other question that I ask myself very often is when I think about those champions that have been competing for 20 years, I'm not going to give names, but a lot of our friends that have been competing for so many years, I'm often asking myself, how do they still find the inspiration and the drive to push and still be there today competing and showing up at every event?
Yeah.
Right? I've been doing this for many years, but at the champions level, not as long as them, and sometimes I'm like, okay, I want to be creative. I catch myself to try to not do the same thing, or like sometimes I'm less motivated other days, sometimes I don't want to dance, and I feel this wave, that is very often coming and go, and I'm asking myself, how do they do it for 20 years? I hope I will still have the love for it in so many years, right? And I think it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful to see that, and like you said, I think they don't just compete anymore, but they try new things. They try to create different things. They try to have different pathways, which I love. And I love to see the evolution. When I see some dancers that have been doing Jack and Jill for 20 years, you watch them 20 years ago and you watch them now, they are so different.
Yeah.
And I think it's so beautiful.
Yeah, we love to see the evolution of that. Absolutely. That's great.
Do we have more questions?
So, 2 quick fires from online. Hello from Samantha in Canada. She says hello. Leah from Germany says hello from Germany. She says hello. The question's coming thick and fast. Eva says, are you coming to Greece in the future? Looking forward to seeing you dancing live. Is that the question?
Okay,
That's
so
the question.
hi
Sorry.
Samantha from Canada, hi Leah from Germany first, and if we are coming to Greece, who asked this?
It's Eva who asked that.
Eva asked if we're going to Greece at some point.
Yeah.
That's so funny because we were planning our 6-year wedding anniversary and we were like, should we go to Greece? We're trying to think of like places around Europe that are not too far for us to be able to travel to. So maybe, but I don't think there's any plans of West Coast swing dancing yet in Greece. Correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anything happening actually in Greece.
I think there's a community, but maybe no events yet.
You think there's a community, but maybe no events yet? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, time to change that. But that's not my job. Rolling?
Yeah. It's Camille, she's in the room with us. Do you want to
Hi, Camille.
Yes, the question is, in West Coast swing, like how do you find your style? How do you know that, because when I look at you, when I look at Maria, when I look at Emily, everybody has such a different style and I feel attracted towards everything.
Yeah.
I don't know what to try sometimes. How do I know?
So how do you find your style in West Coast swing? When you look at everybody, there's a lot of different styles. Everyone has like their personality showing on the floor. So do you want to start with that or do you want me to?
You can go ahead.
Yeah.
I'll respond after.
So the first thing that I kind of notice is you have to try a lot of different things to kind of figure out what you like. And not everybody starts to have their style directly. The biggest mistake is I feel like people, they try to go into a style without actually exploring what they can do or what looks good on them. And a lot of the times with those followers that you are mentioning, a lot of times what's showing up is backgrounds. Backgrounds in other things, backgrounds in other explorations that they've done in the past. And so like for example, like Mike Stantz did jiu-jitsu professionally for a long time. So you see that in his dancing, right? You see Simeon and Masha, they have this moment of like almost ballroom-esque kind of feel in their movements. I come from like solo dancing, so I do a lot of kicks and leg things. Can't help it. But it's one of those things that as you are progressing in West Coast Swing, the more that you can think about being an explorer of movements, the more you can start to discover what your style actually is. So you almost have to learn a lot of languages in order to figure out like what's your accent, you know, and that's kind of like, it takes some time. But then you start to actually discover, you start to feel more comfortable with movement just in general. You want to be able to kind of pick and choose what your flavor is. And don't be afraid to copy. I think that as artists, we get afraid that we're going to step on other artists' toes if we copy, but that's if we copy and take that as our own brand. And I think what we can do is we can copy to learn from. So growing up, I was constantly copying Sarah's snaky leg going through for her one. I was constantly mimicking Jessie, right? I was constantly mimicking Jessie's back hook. I was constantly working on rotations like Tori would. Like, so I'm constantly thinking about like my peers and how they would dance. How much sharpness this follower can have, how much smoothness this follower can have. So I try all of that on, and then I try to make it my own afterwards, without necessarily saying that this is my dance, right? It's more of like, how can I now understand that language and then make it my own? So that would be my suggestion to you.
I'm gonna add a few things, and not too long, but to add to my personal experience, I think is analyzing if you kind of know who you are as a dancer right now at the moment, what you like, and then when I grew up in West Coast Swing and I wanted coaching, I was attracted to some dancers to take some classes, and I started with Maxence, for example, and I really loved the vision, the coaching. It really helped me a lot. And to not worry about staying with just one person, I had to migrate to different coaches, right? I then had Cal and Sarah that really pushed my swing so much, and I was really attracted to the way they were moving. Then I had Benji that really kicked my butt in so many different ways, and like really pushed me in the artistry of West Coast Swing. So I had so many different phases that brought me to where I am, and I think it's really important for any dancers to look and to take from many different people, and to not be afraid to try and even continue if it doesn't feel good at first, but you're attracted visually by it, and then your body will not do the same. It will evolve in a different way, and that's what is very interesting.
Yeah.
Is training with someone intensely will create different pathways in your body, and it will bring you in different places. So you need to start by visually being attracted by something to work towards it, and then decide to pivot if you need to.
That's great.
Yeah, awesome. We have a next question?
Yeah. All right,
We're
Justin.
running low on time.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have like 4 minutes left, but we have so many questions coming online. I've got another
I know.
question in the room. What did you guys want to do? Because it's your live stream.
Yeah.
I wanted to chat about some project that we have.
Yeah, I don't mind going a little bit over as well.
You can always answer some of the questions in the comments afterwards. It's
Yeah.
up to you guys. But I don't
For sure.
obviously it's your live
We're
stream.
collecting all the
Yeah, we're collecting them all.
Thank you so
you.
much. Thank you. Yeah, we can go a little bit over because we did start a little bit later as well.
Yeah, all
so
of it.
yeah.
So we've got some quick fire ones before we go to another longer one. So
Shoot.
Brandy Rose online asks, and also Debbie, what age did you start dancing? And then Debbie asks, how long have you been dancing together? And then Sharona asks, a lot of questions, how did you become a professional? How did you begin?
Wow.
That's a lot there, but feel free.
Okay, starting age was 3.
I was 5 when I started dancing.
But he was still in the womb when he was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Quick fun story, and I think that I maybe said it already, but so
Rapid fire.
when my parents were dancers, they were doing rock and roll acrobatics. My mom was rushed to the hospital after doing a backflip in the air because she had pain, and it was me. All right.
Hello. And then we've been dancing for now 7 years together. Yeah.
So in 2019.
Yeah, we started in 2019, so it's been 7 years that we've been dancing together. I started teaching and traveling the world at 15, and you?
I started traveling. I did boogie woogie World Cups and stuff, but it was not fully professional teaching when I started.
Yeah, when you started being professional.
16, I would say. Teaching.
I'm 1 year ahead of you.
Wow.
Yeah, but you know, starting professionally, we were with different partners as well. So he was with random people, like you were rotating other partners. I had Chris Dumond, and then I was with Benji, and then we finally landed on each other. Yeah.
That's great.
What was the other ones?
How long, Debbie asks online, how long have you been dancing together?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we good.
Got that, sorry.
Yeah.
Sharona asks, how do you become a professional? How did you begin?
So, I think it's a good pivot to also to what we're doing for professionals. How we begin to be professional with Swing? Well, we traveled, and we just tried to be part of this group that we dreamed of, to be part of the Champions Division and travel the world. And when I first started, actually Maxence talked about that when I first started to get coaching with Maxence. It was asking me, do you want to be a local teacher to really support the community? Would you like to be more national pro or international, right? And this is something that I've been thinking a lot, and that we've been talking to a lot of people, is understanding who you want to be in this community. And I, of course, wanted to be international pros and really work towards that. West Coast Swing being based in the US mostly, especially years ago. Now Europe and Asia evolved so much, but I had to travel all the time to the US and push and get my name known in the US. So I traveled almost every month to push and just get knowledge on how everything works, how to get hired, how to manage contracts, how to get in touch with events. And so that was my journey, like working a lot in travels, getting known over there, and having a name for myself.
Yeah.
You have to talk about?
No, that's good. That's pretty much like the same for me, except I didn't have to travel to the U.S.
No, you didn't, no.
No, it was for me. I was able to. I started with a family of West Coast Swing dancers, so I was very, very lucky. I basically started at the studio at 3 years old, and they were like, "You're gonna dance West Coast Swing," and they found me a partner when I was 5, and since then I've basically been growing up in the community. So this is family. This is my home, and they forced me to start teaching at the local studio when I was a kid, and they were like, yeah, you need to start teaching, you need to start thinking about being a professional because one day you're going to travel the world. And I was like, what? And I didn't realize that the dance was not just in my hometown, it was all over the place, and it was very rapidly growing in places like Europe and Asia and even South America. So it was very, very fascinating for me to be able to discover that at such a young age. Actually, fun fact, when I was 15, the first place I ever really went to internationally was Germany, and I did a month tour in Germany. And we did Eurodance Festival and the Rosengala, and we did a bunch of performances there. And that was probably the craziest trip of our lives, because we were so young and we were just jumping into a full professional. But yeah, we were basically, I was born into it essentially. So yeah.
And I'd like to add that we've been working so hard on creating a business in dance, and we see a lot of people wanting to be professional, but as there's no training, there's no formation, there's no professional training to help people having a career in West Coast Swing or understand how to build contracts, build social media, understand how to manage your full business and not just dancing, which is, I would say, 20% of being full professional in West Coast Swing. I just wanted to share with you that we created a full training for professional that is called Elevate, and it's going to happen from the 8th to the 12th of June 2026. And it's a professional training that we created that we're excited to finally be able to share all the behind the scene that takes to be a full-time professional, either, as I was saying, your local pro, national, or international pro. And we're also going to have mentors, which I'm very excited about. We're going to be able to hear from different people that are leading the community or leading their community, that is very, very valuable and very important. So just to let you guys know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we're doing this in like the Southern California region, but we also are doing it online. So we're offering basically a pass for people to be able to watch it on the live stream. So if you are a local pro, if you are planning to be a traveling pro or international pro, if you want to make this your business and your job and you want to learn how the roadmap to do it, we're offering that, all those sessions. It's a week-long program. We're offering it online as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you have a last one or we're good?
Do you want to do one more? Or?
We can take a last question.
Yeah.
Okay.
One last one.
Get the in-ring question.
Yeah.
Lara, did you want to
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. When we talk about getting your own style, would you recommend also taking lessons in different styles like jazz or hip hop or like anything else that's not connected to West Coast directly?
Yes. Yes. So the question is, when we're talking about creating your own style and discovering new movements, should we also be taking classes and exploring other dance styles like jazz, ballet, hip hop, contemporary? Absolutely. This is something that is just, any movement is beneficial. So, and I'm a huge advocate for that. I love exploring movement for movement's sake, but also just to supplement West Coast swing. There are so many things that we can learn from so many different styles and so many different dialects of dance. And like even, I know it can be very different, but I did Latin and I did tap and I did, other styles of dance that aren't necessarily complementary in West Coast swing, but they are. And we find out how they are as we do them. So like I actually do tap sequences while I'm dancing West Coast swing for footwork sometimes. You don't hear any of it, but I feel that I can actually match rhythms, and I know I can move my feet in different ways now because of that. Mm-hmm. So you never really know, like it's a matter of what you're drawn to and just trying those things, and then you start to like naturally have it show up. We know in the freestyle world, when we're improvising, we're out social dancing, we can feel that things just arise, and the goal is that we want to spread our vocabulary wide enough so that those things can arrive flawlessly. We don't want to have to like think, okay, I have to remember I want to do this like little back hook step because I learned it in the class before. The more you do it, the more it'll just show up. So the more you start to utilize that, the more it'll just passively show up in your dancing, and that's what you want to feel. Mm-hmm. Cool? Yeah.
I share the same feeling. I was more from the partner world, so I worked a lot on boogie woogie, Lindy Hop, Balboa, and all those swing dances or even partner dances helped me a lot to have different influences in my dance. So solo and also partner for me, I would definitely recommend working on different styles that would help you to find different ways to move and like inspire you in your West Coast swing. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Nice.
Awesome.
All right, I think we're, yeah.
One final question. It's a nice one to finish on.
Go ahead.
Okay,
It's
yeah.
It'll be a long one.
Go.
We've collected all the questions for you, so you can answer the other ones later.
Okay.
Because there's hundreds coming in.
Yeah! I love that.
We have a lot of questions. We're going to take the last one.
Yeah.
So Manifesting Us, that's their name online. What is your prediction for the future of what West Coast swing looks and feels like? Answer obviously within the time you've got. Okay.
Ooh, this question. So the question is, what is our prediction of what West Coast swing will look like in the future?
Feel like.
And feel like.
Yeah.
It will be in the air, guys. We'll be floating. West Coast swing will be above the floor.
We're gonna have space shoes. No, I'm kidding. Yeah.
You do this one first? Or you want me to go?
I feel like you got it. I'll answer.
It's hard to predict because I feel like West Coast swing is really growing with the type of music that we get from the new artists that we have. My feeling is, if you look at the top 50 often of the new music, there's a lot are Latino. So we are not really dancing to this type of music, but it's definitely influencing the way we're moving, right? We had so many influences from different styles. We had Zouk influences, we had salsa influences, we had in the past a bit more Lindy Hop. But so the music is really part of how we grow and how we evolve. The way I see it going is, if you watch the top West Coast swing performances, which is really influencing the community. We were talking about it with some friends a few weeks ago. Is if you watch the West Coast swing like at the champion level, it's way more athletic than a few years ago. So West Coast Swing is definitely going more and more into more an athletic stance and athletic area. That's why we often hear more and more about the Olympics. Or like we are pushing this dance into a sport at a really high level, but also wanting to keep it as a social dance. So there's both. It feels like West Coast Swing gets more and more into really physical state because it gets way more intense. But we are trying to put that into an improvisation state in Jack and Jill, but also keep the feeling. So I wouldn't be able to tell exactly how it's going to go, but I do feel like West Coast Swing is getting more and more intense, and I love it.
Intense, and you love it.
Yeah.
No, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks. It's a very tricky question to answer, and it's not one that I will be able to answer fully in honesty, but I will talk about what I like in this moment, and it's similar to Thibault. I like the athleticism, and I like where we're starting to go in this dance. We're starting to ask for a lot more awareness, a lot more control. We're starting to implement a lot more of this difference in contact, right? We can think about it as like almost like a contact improv space where it's a lot more freedom involvement, not just strictly push, pass, whip. But as artists in West Coast Swing, we're trying to figure out how we can transform that into push, pass, whip. So I can really feel like we're starting to respect the rules of West Coast Swing, where they're standing. The current artists that are leading the community today are doing a fantastic job of this, leading it in a way that is still respecting the roots of West Coast Swing, and like having conversations with each other a lot in the behind the scenes. We talk about what we like in the dance and what we like to see more in the dance, and we actually practice with each other a lot and try to make that happen and have that show up in our dancing even more often. So we're talking a lot more nowadays about the older style and how swing used to be a lot faster, and how we used to be quick in the lower body, and how we could have a lot more intricate type pattern work. That mixed with the beauty of slow and progressive contact improv kind of feel, where you can just be ooey gooey and followers have a lot more of a voice, and we can implement a lot more movement, and that will drive the dance in a different direction. So I think like we're starting to understand a bunch of different dialects of West Coast Swing, and it's just getting bigger and better. And as he said, with the music, as it changes, we're gonna have different fields, we're gonna have different